Outcome Memories is a Roblox horror game that is rumored to get a big update, and it's gonna add more killers and more characters. But there's a character in this game that always will be very different and annoying, and that's Metal Sonic. Yep, you saw by the thumbnail, I'm gonna give you a Metal Sonic guide, the Clanker guide, the ore farming guide, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna give you a guide and some tips on how to play Metal Sonic and just little neat things you can do at Metal Sonic. But other than that, enjoy and let's go. Okay, before we talk about his actual abilities, we have to talk about Metal Sonic passives because this guy has a whole arsenal. He had 3 passives: Proximity Warning, Resistance, and Self-destruct. And I'll start with Self-destruct since it's the most simple out of all of them. Self-destruct only can happen though if you are at 0 HP, or basically when you die. Because little fun fact is that since Metal Sonic is a robot, he can't actually be downed, meaning that if you reach 0 HP, you are dead permanently for the entire round. Now whenever you die, you self-destruct and stun the killer for 5 seconds. And this is basically impossible for the killer to avoid. The only way he can really avoid it is if like Metal Sonic just ends himself in some other form. But self-destruct is really simple in concept. Basically, robot get hurt, he goes boom, executioner goes flying, and you're gone. I'll try to keep this short. So basically, resistance allows you to take less damage than every other survivor. Now if you fall into the void on not perfect, you will take more damage than every other survivor. But if the EXE hits you, he does way less damage. Now, on a regular round, you will take 50% less damage from the killer, but if you're by yourself, you will take 75% less damage, which is insane because Metal Sonic had the highest HP out of any survivor in the game. So if you're like full HP or you're 150 HP, gang, you are not dying, unless you are being targeted, which I'll get onto that later in the tip section. But other than that, let's talk about his last passive, which is Proximity Warning. Proximity Warning is basically something that alerts you whenever like the EXE is close to you. Whenever you're playing Metal Sonic, you'll hear like a beeping sound constantly if the EXE is close to you. And this can mean he can be either like under you, around you, behind you, he can be anywhere. So yeah, essentially if you're hearing the beep, that means he's close to you. This move is only really useful just to tell where he is. It's not really needed because either you see him with your own eyes or you actually don't see him. So yeah, that's what it does essentially. Destructive Charge is one of those moves that are just really annoying to go against and really annoying if you miss. It can stop to 5 seconds and you lose 40 HP every time you hit the EXE. Now obviously you're probably thinking, should I keep spamming this move? No, because if you run out of HP from it, you die. But every time you also use it, you can make the EXE, and I mean like the little player that's playing him, mad. And every time you make him mad, he's probably gonna target you a lot more. Also, if you hit a wall, you'll be stuck for like a few seconds, so don't hit a wall when you're doing it. But other than that, that's all it really does. Self-repair is basically just Metal Sonic healing. So self-repair can heal up to 70 HP and you can't move during it. If you get hit during it, you lose a lot more HP than you would have. And if you heal above 150 HP, you will end the healing repair thing. Now obviously if Eggman is near you, he will heal you way faster because Eggman made you, and Tails kinda can too, but he heals a bit slower. Basically just self-heal move. We finally made it to the tip section, and the first tip is to find Eggman. Find Eggman or Tails, because Eggman and Tails literally make you heal faster, and well obviously if you can heal faster, that means you can go back in action faster. So try to find your Eggman or Tails, preferably Tails only because he's actually better at stunning the killer than Eggman is, because if the killer is on you and Eggman is protecting you, his stun is nowhere near as long as Tails. So if you do find Tails, then good, but hope that Tails has his gun loaded and not just standing there doing nothing. Another tip I can give you is that if rage is ever activated, just expect yourself to get targeted because there's a solid 80% chance you're gonna get targeted. Unless there's cream, but if there's no cream, you're probably gonna get targeted because you're, Metal Sonic. And depending on how annoying you were, yeah, your chances of dying when they're in rage is really high. So basically, just don't try to fight, just run away with the destructive charge. Even though it may not work. This tip is really weird, but if you use this skin I have on, like the whole aura skin or whatever you want to call it, every time you stun the EXE, it'll make like little lines around the EXE, and basically that reveals every other survivor where you are, which means that they can either come help you, or Eggman will find you, or Tails will help you, so this skin is good for survivors really. Okay, this tip is really important because if you're playing Metal Sonic during LMS or Last Man Standing, and you decide to heal, you better hope that the EXE is across the entire map or he is just oblivious to where you are. Basically what I'm saying is do not ever heal during LMS because I'm not sure why you want to do that. Mind you, during LMS, if you are low on HP, at the start of the round or at the start of the segment, you get 150 HP and you take way less damage during this. So there's no need to ever heal unless for some reason you are charging into the EXE you can do this over and over. Basically, my advice is just use Destructive Charge to run away. Don't be afraid to get hit too much because you take way less damage anyways. And self-repair, just don't do it because if the EXE finds you, you will lose so much HP if he hits you during it. But other than that, let's move on. And the last tip I'll give you is that if you're playing Metal Sonic, your whole point as Metal Sonic is to protect others and basically sacrifice yourself. Now obviously don't keep doing this because you want rings, right? You want to get the rewards at the end. But your whole point as Metal Sonic is to stall the EXE as long as possible and save others as much as possible because you're the robot and you're the one who has insane stun time. So basically, protect others but also try to protect yourself as much as possible. Because if they're if the EXE is in rage, you wouldn't want to actually fight them during rage. But if the EXE wants you, you're stalling time during the rage, which is good for other survivors because you're basically wasting rage on you. So that's my last tip for Metal Sonic, and let's move on to the conclusion. And you made it to the end of the video. I say Metal Sonic is a solid A tier survivor because long stuns, most HP, he only has one life, but if you have Eggman or Tails nearby, you are not dying unless the EXE really wants you, and that's a good thing because you're stalling for time. Essentially, Metal Sonic is that one unit that's strong, annoying, and makes everyone just frustrated because every time you get stunned, it's the worst thing on earth. But other than that, I hope y'all enjoyed, and I hope this helped out, and I am out.